Mic check 1 2. All right, mic check. How are things? Everything's looking good and all right. Voice is there. Let's load up a test run. So we take down you. Okay. Ooh, we are going to go with the waifu. Edge Okari Nasai, how you doing? I know football is on tonight, and I'm gonna be so sad. You're gonna have to give me updates on the Niners on Monday because I'm gonna stream. I know there's games in Brazil today. How do I want my layout of everything today? I think something like that. Oh. You out there. You like this. So that I can see that. I know. It kind of hurts me a little bit. Oh, because of Thursday football? I mean, you never know. A toe could be the difference, Keck. May I go cut inside? What? There's no false starts, just illegal formations. I don't know what you're talking about. Bug that just won't get away. You right about that. You right about that. Taking in your options. Good call. Yeah, Kelsey being gone. Ew. How two turnovers from that alone? Also, just so you know, if I drop off, it's because it's getting close to time here. Okay, that like, it's, you know, I mean, that's the only way it could have been. Well, don't tell Joe, he's an Eagles fan. Hey, Anonymous. Okada Nasai. Just a heads up, I may not, I may drop off, to get set up soon. I also don't think I need to go for any of these chests. Alright. Check in with... Beck, if you could put up your stream like yours. Ah. I'm being asked to change the layout. Hold on. So I'm gonna do everything on the fly. Hold on. Ta-da! How's that look? Did I do it? Sis, hi, okare nasai. It's your favorite game, I know. And my voice will be live on this, so I may not talk to you, chat, quite, you know, as normal. Hello, Joe. Hello. Oh, yes, I do hear you. Alright, good. Let me get my Discord now set for this call. Alright, I changed my layouts. Thankfully everything just kind of fits. Alright. Can you say something, Joe, please?
Sure. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
And good evening.
Alright.
Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're located. And I hope everybody is having a great day today.
I hope so. Yeah, my sister says hi, Joe.
Hello, J-Pop sister.
Alright, good. That's all good. I think I'm set, moved around. Maybe I should have my layout like this.
Okay, so I did go ahead and I just pulled up really longathon, and it looks like our runs are up. So I'll let him know that he can go ahead and connect the audio. Actually, I don't even have my audio on yet, so I'm going to turn that on right now. Hello, everybody on my stream. My audio should be on now, and J-Pop should be on as well.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing this evening? Or afternoon?
Okay.
Or good morning, wherever you are.
Okay, so anyways, let me send a message over to get the audio on really longathon, and then I think we should be about ready to get our seed rolled, and then we can get the game going. Hello, everybody on really longathon. I am Speedrun Joe, and I am joined here with J-Pop for Life.
Hello, everyone.
And we are going to be doing a 7th Saga Randomizer race tonight. So, basically what we're going to do, before we get started here, right now I just have just a random game that's up on my stream, but I'm going to close that up right now, and what we're going to do is I am going to pull up the randomizer software. So what that does, it makes things easier, and it can also randomize everything in the game. But what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be doing a super speed run. So basically what that is, everything is very close to vanilla. Everything's in its vanilla location, but it just basically makes everything run a whole lot faster through the game. So perhaps, J-Pop, you want to talk about a little bit of the reason why we do the super speed run versus the vanilla?
Yeah, so there are many different values, of course, to the randomizer, but as Joe mentioned, it leaves it mostly vanilla, except for a few key differences. So if we click on the preset here, Superspeedrun-ish, a lot of the options here, we have no randomization and is vanilla, and it's like that along the way. The only a couple adjustments that are made for it that is unusual to the vanilla game. One of them is that both allies get full experience points, because when you have an ally, you split the experience in half, and it really slows the game down. So to speed it up, we're going to have both get the same experience, so that will move it a little bit faster. And also, some of the boosts, the XP requirements to level up has been reduced by 700%, so it's 7 times less that you need to level up. And the gold requirements for equipment is also 7 times less. One more thing that this randomizer does that is not in the American version, the 7th Saga, while the Japanese version, Elnard, every 10 levels, when you get a stat boost, you get one more extra stat point, possibly, during the level up. And it was removed from the American version, but it is added back in the American version with the randomizer with this right here. And the only last other thing that is outside of vanilla is that defense to petrify, HP and MP catcher will work on bosses, which doesn't by default. And one last set of changes is that some of the text has been made to be sped up because there's a lot of lore, directions, and things like that. But a lot of times it will now just say, okay, go. And then so you go. So it's much faster. And the walk speed of the characters will also be twice as fast. So we have a better chance to dodge some of the dots that you'll see, which are the encounters. So those are the differences for the Super Speedrunner-ish, but it's mostly vanilla, just set up to be faster.
Yep, that's a good explanation of it. And so they have different presets on the randomizer. So we're doing the Super Speedrun-ish, which is generally vanilla. But what we're going to be doing, I think we'll probably just make one little adjustment here. If we go to the randomization tab, there's a setting here, vanilla hero interactions. And I was thinking we can make a change here. We could put it on randomize hero interactions. So that's one of the things that's actually randomized in this. The other thing that is going to be randomized in this particular run that we're going to be doing is we're going to be having, there's one part of the game where there's certain characters that go to one part of the northern continent and other characters go to the other part of the northern continent. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to have that randomized as well. So there's very little randomization, but there is some randomization. Most of it is vanilla, but like J-Pop said, it's mostly things that are sped up to have us go through the game a lot quicker. So with that being said, we're selecting a seed number, which is going to be today's date in the format of the year 1st, 2024, 0906. So that is our seed number that we're going to be doing here. And I'm going to click the randomize button, which just created a ROM file for this run. So I am going to be closing out the randomizer here, and we are going to go ahead and get this new ROM file loaded up so that we can go ahead and race it. So that is what I am about to do right now. And should be coming right up on our screens.
One more thing that the randomizer does that I failed to mention, if you see here, unlike the vanilla game, it will show the starting stats, which is in the vanilla game. However, on the right side are the growth stats for the different apprentices that you could choose. So it gives you kind of an indicator of how they will grow during the game. And in a full randomization, these numbers could be all over the place. A naturally melee fighter could have low hit points and high magic. Somebody fast could be slow and vice versa. You never know with the randomizer.
Yeah. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and select our character. I think what we're going to do is, just to make things a little interesting for this race, J-Pop and I will select different characters. So it looks like J-Pop is going to select the elf, Asuna, and I am thinking I'll go ahead and select Legis, the demon.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So, one common speedrun technique a lot of times people do is they will select one letter for the person's name, and that basically cuts down on the amount of text that goes through, which is why I'm just naming my character instead of Legis, just L. I'm not sure. I guess J-Pop's probably just going to go with the regular name of Asuna.
I am going to go with the default.
We'll go with the default here. So anyway, I guess we'll go ahead and get this started here. So I will do the countdown, and we will begin the race. So Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off. King Lamel usually has a long speech about our years of training and such, but he doesn't say anything, so we just leave.
And that's one of the ways that the randomizer speeds this game up is it cuts down on a lot of the text.
And there is a hidden mirror on the floor that you can find if you know where it is. I am also opting to pick up these treasure chests here. To be honest, I don't actually think they'll do me any good besides the magical herb, because Asuna is a magical character. In fact, is the only one that starts with a spell right off the bat. So I hope to utilize that here in this run.
Yeah, it's actually both Asuna and Ligi's both start out with a spell. Ligi's starts out with Fire 1, Asuna starts out with Ice 1.
Okay.
So they each have their own flavors of different magic that they have.
And buying some items, getting some equipment that we need to pump up Joe a little bit. Joe is an absolute 100% legit speedrunner of the vanilla 7th Saga, and definitely has more knowledge than I do. I have mostly been a randomizer player, although I do love the vanilla game. So I don't have things mapped out to a T or anything like that. I basically base everything off of my experience running the randomizer a bunch of times.
Yeah, and J-Pop's probably the master here of the randomizer because he does a lot of runs with the randomizer, and he's got some very fast times that he's competed in, so we both kind of have our own unique specialties in this, but that's what makes this fun and interesting.
It absolutely does. I have enjoyed our races and what we've been doing lately, and this is just another one to add on to the books.
So if you'll notice here on my screen, I'm going into the town. I am saving right now, and then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going and making an intentional death. So I'm going to be heading into the castle, going to be going up to the boss, and I am going to take a fight, and I'm going to fight the boss, but I'm going to purposely die to the boss. What that does is it opens up a trigger where you can pick up an item called the whistle, and what the whistle does is that one-shots the boss. And the big advantage to doing that is you get a lot of experience from the boss, and then that makes all your fights go a lot quicker. So I am just running into the castle here, and I'm going to try to dodge as many encounters as possible because I want to just get there as quick as possible so I can die to the boss, and then I'll run back to the boss again and use the whistle on the boss to one-shot.
Yep, and I'm following the same strategy as Joe for similar reasons. As he stated. With the increased walk speed of our characters, it is a lot easier to dodge the dots as you see in the upper left of the game. Those are the encounters. The explanation that King Lamel would have given us is that we were each given a crystal ball to detect enemies and find the objective that we are looking for, which are the 7 ruins here. And I have just reached the boss and Joe has just died from the boss, but similar reasoning. We want to take the death really quickly because we'll get our earlier level ups.
So as you can see here, it was very short text when I was talking to those people. That's another example of how the text speed is sped up. So normally they'll give you a whole speech, giving you a history of Ramis, and I wouldn't say it takes a long time, but it just is extra time. So one of the things that the randomizer did is it just cut out that text, so it's a lot quicker to just pick up the whistle. So as you can see now, I'm back in the castle. I'm heading back to the boss here, trying to dodge the encounters, and once we get to the boss, then I will go ahead and use the whistle, and the boss will be gone, and I will have a lot of experience to get really strong.
And we will give a warning now that the whistle has a very loud and annoying pitch noise, so it's about to come up for both of us. So, rip headphone users, or please turn it down for the next 30 seconds.
A little bit of audio garbage there. And that can happen at random times in the game when an enemy casts Vacuum 2, or if you personally cast Vacuum 2. See, I got 528 experience, which is a nice boost, and because of the fact that the randomizer cuts out the amount of cuts down on the amount of experience you need to get each level. Let me just check here. I'm at level 9 already, so normally in the vanilla run, if I'm going to get level 9. I usually don't get it till about maybe 40 minutes into the run, and we're already 6 minutes into the run, and I've got level 9. So that just kind of gives an idea of how the randomizer really cuts things down.
Now I am going to look at a couple of treasure chests because I am curious how it will go. I talk to a treasure chest. You do that when you mess up. Oh, another thing about the randomizer that I glossed over. There are seeds that boost your stats that you can use. The seeds are random between 1 to 4. In this setting, they give 3 or 4. So it's less random than it is.
Yeah, and that's just another advantage. In the vanilla speedrun, there is a way that you can manipulate the seeds to get a +4 on the roll, but even with that, it requires software, and you need to input the directions that you can see to know where you're at on the RNG string, so that you know exactly where to use the seed in order to get that +4 roll. And the randomizer just cuts that out, where it basically gives you a +3 or +4. There's a lot of advantages to the randomizer here, which is something that makes this run a lot more fun and interesting.
Absolutely. I have found that a lot of us that play this game have a love-hate relationship with this game. We do love the game, but the stat numbers are everything in this, so it does require a lot of grinding in between places. So it does drag out quite a bit, and the randomizer helps take care of that.
So both of us at this point have gotten rid of Promise, who's the first boss. He's the boss that's in the castle there that we use the whistle on to get rid of. And now we are optional from there, but we are going to be heading to the cave here, which is the Cave of Earth. So basically the story behind this is that when you go to that second town, to Rablask, there's talking about how the Gate of Earth has been closed, and nobody is able to travel to the rest of the world, and in order to get through there, you need the Key of Earth. So what we did when we defeated that first boss, we got the Key of Earth, and I am about to walk up now to the Gate of Earth, and I'm going to be using the Key of Earth to open it. So that's what I am about to do here. And doing this, now we can continue on basically to the rest of the game. So, let's see here. I'm just going to use an emerb. And then I'm going to grab a couple of chests here, just a few quick items I'm going to pick up. And then we'll be continuing along here. Now, one of the things that the randomizer does, I'm going to story a little bit, but in the vanilla game, when you go to fight this next boss, what happens is he basically says, somebody hired me to kill you, one of your fellow travelers. Oh, you're asking me who it is? I'm not going to tell you who it is. And it becomes a mystery of who that person is that hired this guy to kill you. One of the things that the randomizer does to put a nice little twist on it is it tells you. So I just talked to him here. He said, Olvin asked me to take away half the time. Sorry. So in that sense, the randomizer just kind of puts that fun little spin onto it. So that's kind of a cool thing about the randomizer.
And there are a bunch of different names that it could be. Some from this game, Olvin being one of them, and some from other games. Might be Bowser, might be Kefka. I think Kefka's one of them. Never know.
Yeah. And there's another guy at the end of this game, Dr. Fail. Sometimes it's even Dr. Fail who hired him. So that's just a part of the fun part of the randomizer.
I have now reached Python. I'm going to be a little bit safe because I don't know the numbers or calculations. I'm going to build up my defense and then try to do this.
I just made it through the cave, and now I'm starting to head to the first town on this continent. And there's like a big town here. Same guys from the first section as Wyverns. Got a new level and got the vacuum spell. One of the things that's interesting about the RNG, so if you notice that demon that I was just fighting, he actually dodged. Now, their speed is one of the lowest in the game, but the game never goes to the point where where an enemy cannot dodge. They always have a small percent chance of dodging, even if it's like 2%. So that was probably one of those 2% situations where that demon dodged. And I've even had it in the vanilla speedrun where I've had one of the faster characters up to level 35 in the Hermit, which is one of the first enemies in the game, actually dodged. So in that sense, it really is one of those things that you never know on. And I'm going to talk to him. He's one of the fellow travelers. So he said he's in the middle of a project. He might be asking me after I'm done. So you talk to them, and sometimes they'll join. And one of the things you want to do is you want to try to recruit partners. So I just talked to another one. That partner response. But basically, there's 3 different types of responses you can get. There's the join response where they want to join you. There's the neutral response where they will basically do nothing. And then there's the fight response where they will fight you. So if you'll notice on J-Pop's screen, he's actually fighting Apprentice right now. So that's something you have an option to at this point, but later in the game, after you pick up the water rune, then it turns into a situation where they could auto-fight, and they just fight you, so...
Because there are 7 ruins, 7 apprentices, and we're all trying to gather all of them so that we're told to be that we could become king. So we're naturally in competition with each other about it. And to be perfectly honest, I said no to fighting Olvin, and he's like, "Are you sure? Come on!" And then I said yes on accident. So It was... I clicked too fast. I did not want to take that fight, but it does come with some benefits that you get experience from it. So I luckily won, so that's a big gain for me.
Yeah. And you also get some good experience through that, too. So that's one of the main reasons why in the speed run we would fight the apprentices, is just to get that extra experience. And as you can see, I have a partner here. I picked up Wilmy the Alien. So he was the only one that would join there in the town. So I'll probably just keep him for the game. He's very strong, but he has very bad magic. So in the vanilla speedrun, if we're doing a glitchless run, then we will use Wilmy as the main character. He generally seems to be the fastest. But if we are doing the one that's glitched, which is a glitch that takes place at the end of the game, but it's a really good glitch to use that basically gives stat boosts. That we use Lux for, because Lux is the only one that will that the tune-up can be done on.
And I have gathered from my partner Camille. He is the average human warrior, so swords, shields, armors. Has some magic spells. His magic is okay. Has some healing spells, so that's probably the most use that we'll have out of it. And usually in this game, it's pretty common to have one magic user and one melee, main user, for a couple reasons. One, being diverse is good, but there is a specific part of the game where one side of that coin is a little difficult to use at that point. I'll just say it that way.
So if you'll notice on my screen, I just picked up the wind rune. That's the first rune that we pick up, and when you use it as an item, what it does is it warps you to any of the towns that you've already been to. So it's very useful in the sense that you can quickly go from one town to the other, and that's one of the, I would say probably one of the most used runes that we pick up out of all of them.
Absolutely. Being able to go back, it's the travel warp, and nobody likes to walk anywhere, even though we have twice with the walk speed. We don't want to walk everywhere, and you have to go to towns, leave, and come back to them, so it's definitely the most used one. And if you see on my screen, I have picked up Brantu. I know that Joe had already acquired him because he'll be required to get through the end of this cave that I will be approaching, that Joe is also finishing. So we need Brantu to get through.
Yeah, so as you can see here, just getting some more levels quickly, and I am about to get to Melanam here, which is what they talk about in these towns. If you go and you talk to the townspeople, they talk about how there's these different, there's this old town that was ruined all like way back in the past, and they had all this advanced technology. So, but they said that they can't get there. This guy Brantu says he can't get there because of the monsters. So, what we just did is we got Brantu, we took him there, and now in the regular game, normally when you go there, there's a whole bunch of different treasure chests in there, so you kind of feel like you hit the jackpot when you go there, because there's just so many things that you can get. And then what we're going to do is we're going to walk to the other side, and when we get to the other side of Melanam, there's a little bit of a surprise waiting for us over there. So we're about to just going to do a quick save, and then we're going to head over there and see that surprise. walking through. I generally don't pick up, I'm not going to be picking up much of the treasures here in this particular run, but in vanilla there's a few extras that I pick up. There is one that I'm going to pick up down here, which is a protection seed, and I'm just picking that up just because just picking things that way, and that sticks with me for the rest of the game. So we come through here, we go back into a cave with enemies, and we come up here, and look who's waiting for us. It says, Olvin powered me up so I can kill you, the money is surely mine. So, in the vanilla game, he says that he came back as Red Python, so then he comes back and he's a lot stronger, so you have a more difficult enemy on your hands at that point. So, again, with the randomizer here, it makes the fight go a whole lot quicker, but in vanilla, this can actually become a bottleneck because it can be a very difficult fight, and it requires understanding his moves, understanding how he usually does things, so that's kind of how this fight can be a bit of a challenge, but in this randomizer, it's much, much easier. As you can see, Luigi's there for a pretty strong hit, but he's down now, so...
And I am right behind Joe, now having my interaction with Red Python, Reanimated Python, Revenge Python. He's had a lot of different names that that we haven't settled on.
Where you can pick up just random items in random places, and the game doesn't even give you any kind of clue that the items are there, so it's kind of funny, like that item that was there where Python was, but got an item, so...
This game is very funny. It likes to hide items on top of either bosses or important spots that you don't know that are important until much later. But yes, I have defeated Python now as well, so I am on Joe's heels as we continue on. We are on the Aegis Island. It is a tiny island that just has one town and the cave. So here we are, and alright, that's it. Say goodbye. We're done with that island. The game is broken up into several continents. Is how they wall block you in between everything. You know, you have to get the Key of Earth to get out of the first one. You have to get the Wind Rune and Brand 2 to get out of that one. This one is like a transition one. And we'll need to do a few other things on the next continent afterwards. And that's basically how the sections of the game are broken up.
That's nice here. The encounter I just had, that's a brain fight, and it was actually 2 brains that came up, and that's really like an ideal fight that you want, because those brains give the most amount of experience in this area, and it's much more than almost all the other enemies up until later in the game. So this is a very common place where we grind in the regular speedrun. I'm basically just taking a few fights here. I'd like to get a little grinding in here because we're going to be coming up to another fight that could be a bit of a challenge. So I just want to make sure I get the levels in here so that we're in good shape for it.
Yep, and the next boss will be a little up ahead. And I have actually jumped ahead of Joe. I am actually 2 towns ahead. And I come to this town where the story is that they have no water, they're in trouble, they have the water rune, and they won't give it up unless you solve their issue. You have to find Digger Quills, who Joe was talking to, and bring him to this town, and then he will discover water, and then we will get the water rune. So that's 2 of the 7 that we need. Something also that the randomizer does that speeds this interaction up. Okay, good, no betrayal. You actually have to come to this to the town of Gunts first, and talk to the sage, and you actually have to repeatedly talk to him to upset him, and then he'll make the deal with you about the water ruin, and then you go back to the previous town to find the digger and then bring him back. So there's a lot of back and forth, but the randomizer actually just sets all of the flags already set, so you're ready to go and do it if you already know what it is. There are other interactions like that. One that we passed up that I don't think Joe or I interacted with was a map. You can acquire a map which will show you your location. And to do that, you have to go to the gentleman's house, and then they say, oh, he's in the weapon shop, so you go there, and then someone else goes, oh, he's in the item shop, oh, he's in the house of healing, on and on and on to all the locations until you find him back at home. But that is shortcutted to the end in this randomizer to save time if you want to get the map, which is very, very helpful in the regular randomizer, but not so necessary if you know the vanilla game. None of the towns move, so you know where they all are. And another reason right now why Joe and I are grinding at this location, the brains do give the best experience for this area, so they're the most ideal. But also, the next boss is actually, how difficult they are is not set until we talk to the wise man in Aegis several towns back. The tiny island, there's a gentleman blocking the door, and if you have the wind rune, then he'll move out of the way. The moment you do that, the next boss's levels is set, which, Joe, you could correct me, I believe it's 5 levels higher than yours when you talk to the sage at that moment?
Yes, it's 5 levels higher, and it's randomly determined.
So we may have, even though we're running different seeds, we may have a different boss when it comes to that point, because that's when it's decided that it happens in the run.
Get into the next encounter zone where we don't encounter the brains, then I'm going to just be making a run for it, and I'm just going to try to dodge as many dots as possible. So I'll show you up here if you're watching my side of the run here. So there's this shadow in there. It's almost like you almost see like that sun in the shadow there, and it almost looks like a little Goomba from Mario, and that's where the line is where you go into the next encounter zone. So this is my last fight that I'm going to take here in this encounter zone, and now I'm in the next encounter zone. So that was actually an accident with me hitting the dot there, but we'll still fight him anyway. This is a pretty quick fight, and then we're gonna basically just make a run for it to the next town.
What I think is really interesting about 7th Saga, especially, you know, from days long ago, you would just walk blankly on the overworld, waiting for an enemy to appear. But with this game, you do know where they are, so it does make running into them, like, it gives you purpose to find your encounters so that you can do your grinds, so that you can also try to avoid grinds if you're trying to get from place to place. And actually, even today, Well, I guess that's not true, yeah, for today. But back in the early '90s, I don't know of any RPG game that was like this at this time. So it always had that interesting aspect to it. All right, now I'm gonna chase after Joe, and I lie. I'm gonna have one more fight. And I am rewarded with a brain, so it was worth it.
So, basically in this town, Petrov, what happens is, you go into the town and everybody's like, this guy came in, he overthrew the king, killed the king, and now nobody's able to stop him. He just keeps ruling this place, and everybody's all scared of what's happening, and they don't know what's going to happen. So basically, the door is locked to get into the castle, so you can't even get into the castle, but you find out that there's a secret passage that you can go through. It's in the graveyard, so you go into the graveyard and then you push one of the gravestones and you find out that that is going to let you into this passage, but it's all full of monsters. It's actually full of these monsters that are called Spidex, which are basically poisonous spiders. So in that sense, you have to fight your way through this passage, and then once you get through, then you finally get inside the castle.
Let's see, okay.
Now, since this is based off of the vanilla game, I am grabbing the treasure chests that I know are useful items. I don't grab all of them because some of them are tricks, and that's just going to give me extra fights that I would have to take that I don't want to. So some of the chests I'm avoiding, and then some of them I'm going ahead and fighting. I'm sorry, not fighting. Going ahead and taking. So.
And I am scared to fight any tricks right now because they are difficult fights. They do drop gems, so they're worth money, but money's kind of a mute point in this run since everything is 7 times cheaper. And since I don't have the knowledge that Joe has, I'm going to ignore all of him and save the frames and just keep going. Joe has reached the castle, and I am just one floor behind him. And we will see who Joe has for his opponents. We are going to talk whoever to this person is, and we actually will agree to join them. The reason for that is that the front door is locked. However, if we agree to join them, that front door is unlocked. So if we die in this fight, we could go through the front door instead of the cave again. And the secret is revealed that it's one of the other apprentices that has taken over the castle. And strangely enough, we both got, in my opinion, the most difficult one.
Which is interesting that we both got the same one. Now, I took a bit of a gamble there, but I beat him, because if I missed that attack, then I probably would have been dead.
I am taking all the safety precautions, and I died anyway. And in this game, when you lose to an apprentice, you'll get dramatic music, and you'll find that all of your ruins have been taken by the opposing apprentice. So I no longer have the wind or the water ruin now, so I can't travel. In some ways, I am stuck in this town until I defeat this boss and get it back. So I tried to play ultra safe and I got one-shotted, so now I'm gonna switch over and try a very aggressive strategy and see if that works instead. work. Oh no. Alright, I have cheated the game. I am leveraging the benefits of the randomizer, and I am using the petrify spell, which does not work on bosses or apprentices, and I'm gonna hope that this will carry me to victory. Which is still not looking too good.
But you'll notice on my screen, I'm in the next town now, and there's this kid that I talked to. He says that he thought that he was in a certain town, Bonrow, which is a town that we've already been to, and he says, "This is Bonrow, right?" And we're like, "No, this is Bone." So he's like, "Oh no, I didn't realize that." So then what happens is, like in my situation, he said, in order to get to the northern continent, you need to take a boat to get there. So he says that his uncle works on a boat in Bonrow, and that he could take us there. So he said, "Can I go with you guys to Bonrow?" And we say yes, and then he joins the party. And now we're back to Bonrow here, and we're going to go in, we're going to talk to his uncle, and then his uncle's going to give us a free ride on the boat to go to the northern continent. So that's one way that it can happen. The other way, I should say the other main way in the randomizer is he'll say he noticed this strange man in this cave next to the town, and he all of a sudden disappeared and found this remote control. He said, "Here, I want you to have it." So he gives it to you, and then you go down there, you find out this guy built a submarine that goes under the mountains up to the northern continent. It takes you to two different towns, but there's two different storylines, and based on the characters that you are, it determines which story you're going on. So I'm on the story where I got to go on a boat and I took it to this town. And as you'll notice, I just, in the corner of the inn there, I just randomly searched and found the ring there. So that's actually a very good item to pick up and to equip, because not only does it boost the defense, but it also gives you resistance against vacuum, which is very helpful because there's if an enemy uses vacuum, it'll basically get rid of you in one shot if it works. So what the ring does is it gives you resistance to vacuum. So if there's an enemy that tries to vacuum, they will basically most of the time it won't work. I believe there's still a 5% chance that it could work, but in general, it doesn't work. So that's a big advantage to picking up the ring and putting it on. So I just went into this town here. Some people call it Padal or Paddle. So there's this guy in here who's got a moon as he it's flashing, which indicates that there's a room there. So you go, you talk to the commander here, and he tells you that he'll only give you the rune if you do him a favor. And then he says that there's these kids that are getting abducted by this serpent, and he says he would go there himself, but he doesn't have the time to do so. So he asks if you'll go ahead and do it instead. Now, technically you're supposed to say yes. I said no because in the game it doesn't matter whether you say yes or no, but I kind of have a little bit of a joke. I say I'm going to under-promise and over-deliver. So basically I go ahead and the main thing is that you have to talk to him, but it does save a few frames that way. So anyway, yeah, so I just talk to him, and then that's just going to help me later on. I'm going to go defeat that serpent that he's talking about, and then I'll get the moon rune as a result of doing him that favor.
The moon rune is the only rune I believe that can be the way you acquire it at the end. I believe has 4 different outcomes, and it depends on if you have talked to him before, after he asks you to fight the serpent and save the kids, and there is actually a war going on between two of the towns on the big continent, Balang and Talang. And if you stop the war, I believe, adds to that factor. So I believe those are the two combinations that are involved, and depending on what that situation is, your route to acquire the moon rune will be slightly different. But talking to him and agreeing, or in Joe's case, not agreeing, but it still sets it, is the fastest and most direct way.
Yeah, if you don't talk to him and you kill Serpent, then what he does is he tells you that there's a certain soldier that's supposed to be there who isn't there, and then he says if you go and find him, then he'll give you the moon rune. So that's kind of another little challenge that he gives that you have to complete. So I just made it to a town called Luz, and there's supposed to be a sky rune in there, but when you go there, you fight the dragon, and then you find out, after killing the dragon here, that there is no sky rune. It actually says that somebody stole it. So then you have to go around to each of the towns and find out it's one of the apprentices that actually took it, and you basically have to fight them in order to get it. So a little bit of a story you have to follow, but I am in the process right now of fighting the dragon. Actually, I'm lowering dragon's defense, and that's just going to make the fight easier. Save before the fight. So the reason I did that is because if I cannot find the apprentice with the sky rune, I am going to set and look again to see if, or fight him again to try to respawn the sky rune on a different apprentice. So that's just a kind of an inside strat that I do that normally, I mean, most people wouldn't know that if you're just playing the game casually, but in the speed run, that's one of the strats that we normally do, so. So dragon's down, so now I'm going to be starting to check certain towns that the apprentices will show up in. So I'm going to be going and checking those towns to see if they are in there. If they are not, then I will probably either go check the other towns, or I may just reset. I'm just going through all the towns. And of course using the wind rune, which gets us between the towns really quick and easy.
That sounds nice. I wish I had one of my own.
Yes, you're kind of bottlenecked there.
Little bottleneck. I do know that when it comes to the Patrov fight, the Patrov team fight, for Asuna, in my opinion, Valsu is the most difficult of all of them because of their strong magic, and because of Asuna's weak defense. One-on-one, there's kind of no contest. It's very, very difficult for Asuna in this type of fight.
Okay, so something interesting just happened on my end here. So, I found the sky rune. It was in this town Bone, and when I talked to Lux, who had the sky rune, he actually said to me, he said, I also found one of the runes. Would you like to join me? So I just had Lux join. I switched my partner. And one of the reasons I switched my partner, so I had Wilmy before. Wilmy's a little faster than Lux, but I wanted to get Lux, because Lux does not betray, Wilmy has a higher percent chance of betraying, so I didn't want that to happen, so that's why I recruited Lux. Now, that's an example of what Vacuum does. It just vacuumed up Lux there. I'll revive him after I kill this escort here. And of course, Lux doesn't have a ring on, so that's why he's more vulnerable to it. And I'm basically going to be doing some grinding here on those silver brains. So those silver brains are probably one of the highest. They give some of the most experience in the game, aside from bosses. So it's a great place to grind, and I'm going to get the level up pretty high. So I'm probably going to go for about level 35, and that should generally be a pretty good place to finish off, I would say, the rest of the game pretty quickly. So I'm at level 27 now. So there's actually we call it a glitch range. So when the magic stat gets to a certain level, you can actually use vacuum on these S-brains, and it hits almost, it's a very high percent chance of hitting. Okay, so 108, and Lux is 97. So I'm actually going to use vacuum on the next S-brain that I get, and that's going to... very, very high percent chance of working here, so... There it goes. Yep. And since Lux's magic stat is a little lower, he's actually going to right now to use vacuum, so I'm actually going to start traveling to the other towns, because his magic stat is 102. That's another ideal place to vacuum. Lux doesn't burn the vacuum spell. You can buy vacuums as an item, and then he can throw the vacuum at you, which basically matches up with his magic stat. So I'm going to go ahead and make a trip. Oops, I should have gone to a different town here, I was thinking. So I'm going to go to a few other towns that I need to go to in the game. So it's not like this is wasted time with me traveling to these other towns, because I'm still going to need to go there anyway. And then I'm going to go buy vacuums so that we can beat these S-brains a little bit.
And I have finally escaped from jail, so now I'm on my way.
That's a good thing, because that can be a rough place to get stuck at.
It can. Although, I mean, as we have said with most of this game, if you grind enough and level up, the numbers are everything in this, so get a couple more of those and it can make a really big difference in your matches. There's only one exception to that rule, and that would be the Sky Ruin that Joe acquired. Sometimes they would like to join you. Sometimes, or most of the time, you actually have to fight them to acquire the Sky Ruin and move on. And as if you have ever played the vanilla version, as I stated, we don't get the Elnar boost, which is the +1 every 10 levels that you level up. And in the vanilla game, we, as in the humans, us players, don't get those boosts. However, the apprentices do. So they actually get stronger and stronger with every level up, and you fall behind. It is one of the few ruins that can actually get out of your control in acquiring, depending on the circumstances. and your only other option is you have several fights so that it randomizes their interaction again, and they decide to join you instead. So the Skyrun's the only one that travels with you in the level ups. And Joe, did you get the boat or the submarine?
I got the boat.
Okay, I got the submarine, so I have the other route going underneath 2 water masses, because there is the theory of the story is that the 2 water lakes are joined at the bottom underneath the mountain, and there's stories of a sea serpent or something in the water, and it's his submarine invention going back and forth between the 2, because he discovered that, hey, they really are connected at the bottom. So that's how you get from one to the next.
As you see, Ligi's hit level 31. I'm just going to take it a few more levels here. And I've done some different tests on this, so you can do a grind as you go, but I've found that when you do the grind as you go, it takes a lot longer than if you just simply grind on these guys. So I'm fighting right now. I'm getting higher experience this way, and then basically when I get encounters after this, I'm basically just going to be running from everything and just running to the end. And based on the tests I did, it's faster to do some grinding here and then just make a run for it versus trying to do a grind as you go strat.
Yeah, the brains and the S-brains, it just, in terms of the grind, there really just isn't any comparison between the two. Between normal grinding and brain grinding, what you get out of it for the interaction it's like finding a metal slime in Dragon Warrior. It's what you want to find. You know, it gives you the most for the work you gotta put into it.
Probably not quite as often as in Dragon Warrior, but when you do get the S-brains, a lot of times they can run away too. It seems like they do have a high percent chance of running away, but not nearly as extreme as it is in Dragon Warrior, so...
Yeah, Dragon Warrior
That's
for sure.
Thing.
Yes, and I don't know who discovered this fact, but if a monster, if you have, I believe it's 3 interactions with them back and forth, as you all take your turns, they will not run away afterwards. And Camille got vacuumed, so that was fun. So if after several attacks back and forth, they don't run away, they're there for the rest of the fight. They will not run away from it. We will try this fight right now. It's not a difficult fight. The green dragon is strong but has no magic, so it's pretty predictable what type of fight you're walking into. I lie, he does have some magic. He has Petrify. I forgot.
So... Alright, level 35. So I think it's pretty much now going into go mode, so I am going to head to the town of Tifana. That's where I bought the vacuums at, and we are going to now head up to go fight Serpent. So... that Serpent is abducting the children into. And the front door is locked as well on this castle, so you have to go in through this back door here. It's not too far out of the way, but it is a little extra walking you have to do. And these guys are not going to let me run, so... I believe there's always a... I can't remember if it's a 5 or 10% chance that you can't run, so... Even you could have the highest speed in the game, which is 255, and you can still not run from the This could actually be a pretty good fight. Okay, so now we make it all the way up to the top floor here in the castle, and we're about to encounter Serpent here. Here's Serpent. She says, haha, you can't take my children away. I know it's you who's my child. Prepare to die. So now, we need to fight her, which, in general, it's really not that hard of a fight, but...
I believe the lore and the story with the Serpent, if you go with the surrounding towns to talk about it, I believe she lost her child, and it saddened her, so as lore seems to go, you know, so she took other children all around to replace her missing child.
Okay. So now that Serpent's down, now we can go grab the Moon Rune from the commander that we talked to earlier in the game. And then after that, we have one more rune on this continent before we're able to go to the last continent. Says, I really appreciate what you've done. Here's the Moon Rune that I promised, and says it has a mysterious power. So, what the Moon Rune does is that will increase your power. So basically, we picked up some B powers earlier in the game, And what the Moon Rune does is it has the same function as the B powers. It doubles your attack power, basically. So, very useful rune as well.
Yes, matches second and third most useful. I think we agree that the Wind Rune is the most useful rune, and heavily used. And then the Moon Rune and the Star Rune, while the Moon Rune doubles your power, the Star Rune doubles your defense, which is your Bottle of Protection, or the Defense 1 spell. It's also the same thing. Those three are probably the most used runes in the game, by far. And in fact, I should say that. I should hold my tongue. You can explain that when you get there first, Joe. You'll get there before I will.
Okay, so if you're talking in some of the different towns around where I am right now, basically, you're going to hear about, this Castle Biltham. The people there are very eerie, very weird, and you should try to avoid going to Biltham. And I just walked in there. Now, if you start talking to everybody, they'll say, "This is the Kingdom of Doros," and you talk to other people. You go to a weapon shop, "I will only sell weapons to Doros," and everybody's just talking about this guy Doros, and even one guy up here, he'll be like, "Hail Doros!" So you're wondering, okay, what's up with this place? Is this some kind of cult that I just walked into? And so you go into the castle here to try to find out, and there's a whole bunch of monsters. So we're heading through here right now. Again, I'm just avoiding the encounters because this is a speed run. But they can be pretty challenging enemies in here.
Yes, they can.
Usually it's a place that you just want to get through as quick as possible, and then you finally find Doros. Now,
but first,
here.
I'm here in the basement as well, and we are here to grab this key that is hidden under this table, because we need to talk to this gentleman behind the jail cell, obviously. And actually, we are high-fiving really hard right now, Joe. High five.
High five.
And we will acquire the star. The star will be necessary in this fight. It is basically impossible to defeat Doros without this star. And by lore, you would have to figure it out by after defeating Doros and then talking back to this gentleman. He is actually Doros' father, and imprison him. And I believe Joe and I just picked up the amulet behind that pillar. I just know that it's good. Joe can explain what it actually does.
Yeah, so like I mentioned about the ring gives you resistance against vacuum. What the amulet does, that gives you resistance against some of the stat lowering spells. So if an enemy tries to lower your defense, if they try to petrify you, if they try to steal your MP or your HP, the amulet creates resistance to that, so those spells don't work. Okay, so as you can see here, Doros split into 3 right now. Now, if you go and try to fight him, it's not going to do anything. Like, he just will not get hit. So, in that sense, when you use the star, he goes back into 1, and then you can actually hit him. So, if you don't know much about the game, you may end up just going and fighting Doros, and then you can't hit him. And then you can see why everybody's in such a daze in this town, because he can't be defeated. But, with the star, that's what he does. He's down.
Ooh, you got through him quick.
J-Pop is using a glitch in the randomizer, where it's a flag that gets turned on to petrify the bosses, which is what he did, so that he can go ahead and beat them a little easier, and there's less animations that way. So that's actually a good strat that J-Pop is using there. I forgot to use it because I'm used to running vanilla, and sometimes I forget that there's these glitches in place.
Yes,
Now, if you'll notice,
certain things that you do have to be careful of doing it, because against certain bosses it can soft lock your game, so you can try to do it, however there may be consequences with it later.
So if you'll notice, I just went back to Biltham, and that's because now the item shop is open, and they sell a very important item in Biltham. It's called the harp, and what the harp does is that prevents enemies from being able to vacuum you. So I wanted to buy them because that's just a very valuable item to have, and they sell it in Biltham. So anyway, now I'm back in this town, Brush, and normally there's a fortune teller in here, and you go pay her money, and then she tells you where the next place is that you're supposed to go. And basically the way that the randomizer set it up, it makes it so basically she just says, go see Brand 2, which is the guy that took you to Melanam, to the runes, or you took to Melanam to the runes, and then you find out he built a plane, and he says, hey, why don't you go for a ride on that plane, and it'll take you to the northern, or to the western continent. So you say, okay, and then after you get into the western continent, the plane crashes. So the randomizer speeded up where basically you just get on the plane and it crashes right away. That's just for quicker animation, because that's a pretty long cutscene in the vanilla game when you go ahead and get on the plane. So now I'm on the western continent, which is an ice continent, and I am gonna just this guy I cannot run from. He's considered a boss, so I actually have to fight him to get through him. So that's why I'm doing that. But with the levels that I'm at right now, this is a very easy fight, so I'm not too worried about it. But in like the vanilla any percent speed run, that can be a very dangerous fight, and you could lose a good 5-10 minutes in the vanilla run by hitting one of those guys, dying when you're almost at the next town. So it's definitely a fight that you don't want to get. So it looks like on J-Pop's screen, he's in the process right now of getting the sky room. So he's taking a different approach from me. On mine, I was offered by Lux to have Lux join me, so I said yes, but it looks like on his, he's in a fight to get the sky room. So basically, depending on the response, you can either fight them for the sky room, or you can have them.
Yep, so I have the fight response, so I'm now taking care of that, and now I have done it. You know, I had a thought and I lost it, so continuing on now.
So another thing that just happened on my game here is I went through that tunnel, and then as I was going through, now in the vanilla game it says the pain is unbearable. This one it says thou art cursed. So basically you find out that there's this guy who put a curse on you because he thinks that you're an evil person that's coming through, and he wants to try to stop you. But then so what you need to do is you need to go to the cave that I'm in right now, and there's an item in here called Moonlight, which when you get that item, then he says, oh, I guess you're really not evil. I guess I must have misread things. So then he says he's going to remove the curse. So and the curse basically stops you from using magic.
And that is the part of the run where magic users, especially my character, will have a hard time. So you would like a physical character around to do the heavy lifting, while the magic user would typically support, you know, add buffs, use the runes, use items, while the physical character would take care of the work during this segment of the run.
notice, I'm on my way to get the moonlight, and look who I bump into again. It's Pyson again, but this time he's Metal Pyson, or sometimes we call him, for fun, Mike Pyson, or J-Pop calls him M. Bison, like in Street Fighter, so we kind of have different names for these guys.
I have now reached my portion of the serpents. I am going to do this. I am going to try to petrify the serpents. Sometimes you will get a graphical glitch because of it. For better or for worse. We'll see if it happens.
So one of the things that could become a problem in this fight against Metal Tyson, it's more of an annoyance than it is actually a problem, but he was almost dead there, and he ended up using heal 3, so he healed back all his HP, so now basically having to refight him. That's just kind of like an annoyance that comes up.
Yeah, if you know the heal spells in this game, heal 1 will heal 40 hit points, heal 2 will heal 90 hit points, and heal 3 will heal 100%. So there's a very big difference after heal 2 when it comes to that spell. So when enemies use it, it could be big. So I have taken down the serpent, and I am saving before I acquire this moon rune, because this will be the last chance for something we call a betrayal. There's a chance that the apprentice, under certain runes, I believe it's the water, moon, and light,
Yes.
that when you acquire the rune, they'll go, ha ha ha, you did all the work for me, now I don't need you anymore, or something like that, and we call it the betray, because that's what happens, and then you have to end up fighting them. Now, win or lose, no betrayal, okay, win or lose, you lose a partner, so it's pretty devastating when you expect to have somebody there with you, and then now they're gone. And since now Camille cannot betray, I'm going to gear him up as best I can. I do not know the optimal shops for it, so I'm just gonna grab this, hope for the best, and that's how I roll. Since I play the randomizer, I just try to RNG harder.
Yep. So, as you'll notice, I got the curse removed, and I made a save, and now I am on my way to the castle here, but it's actually a tunnel. You have to go through this cave first, and as you're walking through the cave, you come up to this big blue dragon. His name is Monmo, and the only thing that he really has a weakness to is fire. So I got the curse removed, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use fire magic on him to basically kill him. It can be a long fight in the vanilla any percent run, but it's but fire is really the key to beating Monpo. So I use the light rune, which basically increases Luigi's magic stats, and now I'm just blasting him with fire too.
Monmo also has a very high resistance to physical damage. You do almost next to no physical damage against Monmo, and is a pseudo gatekeeper from progressing in the game, especially after your magic gets locked out. The whole idea is that you have to release your magic so that you can actually fight Monmo and be able to defeat them. You can beat them with physical attacks, however, it would take a very long time, and is clearly not worth it.
You're basically just doing one damage.
Yes.
So we're not doing the, really randomized one. but when you play this when it's really randomized, like in the traditional flags, Monmo could actually be very weak to a lot of things that he normally wouldn't be weak to in vanilla. And that's one of the things that makes the randomizer so cool, is you can play the game in so many different ways.
Yes, you can. Some of us have sort of made a little game of some of the type of settings that we can have, because there are some weird settings where you can set it to monsters actually give no experience, so you never level up, but you can give all your spells, you know, at level 1, and play a game where maybe you set the seeds to their maximum, which is 15, and have a whole bunch of seeds strewed about, or they can be purchased in the shop, so you have to find the right shop and build your stats through that method, which creates some interesting results as well. That's just one of the examples. There's the randomizer. You could find many ways to do it. Oh, and I don't think we mentioned here, but the randomizer was created, and I know others have helped as well, by Game Boy F9, and this truly, I would like to say out there that it has reinvigorated my love for this game because of it. It's truly great, and I enjoy running this, because as you see, we are getting through, we're probably 2/3 through the game right now, and we are a little over an hour into it. So, unlike the vanilla game, which probably takes around 6 hours, right, Joe? If you're fast.
Yeah, so the world record right now is, I believe, 5 hours and, 4 hours and 51 minutes approximately. Might be a little off on that time, by Eric Faceplant. And then my PB is 4 hours and 59 minutes. So, it actually used to be the world record, but then, Eric, came in, knocked it out, so... But yeah, so in that sense, though, that's the fastest, and that's using the tune-up glitch. But if you play it regular without doing the tune-up glitch, I believe the world record right now is 6 hours and 27 minutes by Jim. Okay, so I just beat Gariso. He's the one that we think is the last boss, and you still hear that Moscow music. And so now we obtain the Wizard Rune, and we think, okay, great, we got the Wizard Rune, now we're going to rule the world, right? So here comes King Lemuel from the very beginning and we find out all the runes break into pieces. And he reveals his true identity. He says that he's really not Lemuel, he's Gorcia. He killed Lemuel, pretended to be Gorcia, and he wanted us to go get all the runes so that he could, because all his powers were contained in the runes, and then when he could break them apart, he gets all his power back. So it was a whole big setup right from the beginning, we find out. And you would think right now, okay, does that mean we just died and lost? But now we find out that we were unconscious for 7 days straight. And these people say, I don't know what happened to you, but you were injured and unconscious when we found you. So now you go out into this town and you have no idea where you are. And there's only one item I'm going to grab here, and that's the recovery, hidden in a tree. And then you start talking to people who are like, I have no idea what towns you're talking about. I've never heard of these places before. And then what happens is, as you continue on, you find out that you got sent 5,000 years back into the past. So, and the battle music changes, so you're going to hear now the new battle music, which is kind of cool music.
So
I'm going to try to avoid that music as much as possible, because I'm going to try to avoid encounters here.
So as all evil villains must do when they have the opportunity to get rid of you, they don't do that. They just put you in a situation where all seems lost and hopeless, but they didn't do the one thing, which was eliminate you. So we'll see if we can try to make it their grave mistake and their downfall.
Yep. And for those that are familiar with the map, you find out that where you are is actually the same place that you were when you, I was going to say back in the past, but when you were before in the future, this is the same terrain. You see the same mountains in the same places, the same water, so it can look very familiar with where you're at right now, which makes things interesting. There's different towns in different places, so.
Yep, it is the same continent, it is the same layout, just in a different time period. And a weird thing is that the map actually does not work in the past. It will not show you your location on the map, even though it is the same location. It won't show you. I don't know how. Go ahead.
So the town that I just walked into, there's this really rich guy that's in this town, and they talk about how he has all this money, he has this big mansion, he bought this airship, and they're like, I don't even know how he can afford this stuff. So basically, you find out that by talking to different people that there's this secret entrance to get onto his airship. You can also talk to him, depending on which character you are, like with K-pop's character, Asuna, he gives her a free ride. He basically says, a girl like you is always welcome on my airship, but somebody like Luigi's or Wilmy, characters that I am, he will not even let you on the airship. The other characters will charge 7,000 gold to get. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm checking the airship changes every time you come in or you go out. So it is completely random based on the random number generated in the game, RNG. And I'm going through each of the doors here and checking to see where that secret entrance is. So I've checked almost all the doors here. I only have 3 left to check. Okay, so it's here to the last door, and I found that secret entrance. So now I'm going on the airship. If I talk to anyone on this airship, they're going to tell me, you're not allowed on here without proper authorization. Get off. The only person that you could talk to is the captain. He happens to just say, are we leaving now? And you could just say yes. So the airship goes.
The captain is the only one that doesn't question who's on the ship, while everyone else does.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how that works.
I have made it to Gorisa, and this is the only boss that I will not be using Petrify on. There is a very strong chance that it will mess them up and cause them to run away and then soft lock the whole fight. So it's the only one where I can't do that.
So as
trick.
you just saw, I talked to the guy there. He said, you're not allowed on here without proper authorization. Get off. So I did that just because quicker than walking off. So anyway, then you go into the town and you find out you're in Melanan. And when you were in the future, you heard about the ruins of Melanan that was basically a sunken continent. But now you find out you're actually on that continent, which makes things even more interesting. So when you're on the continent, you walk to another town. It's called Kalsu. And you talk to this lady in here, and she says, oh, my son is in Melanam working. Can you please bring him this letter? I'm sure he'll be very happy. So we pick up the letter, and in this town I can actually buy the best weapon for Luigi's, which I'm going to do right now. So we're going to buy this weapon for Luigi's. his best armor, which is in Melanie. And this is actually the only place that you can buy Lux a weapon and armor upgrade is here in Melanie.
Alright, now I have traveled to the past. So, me and Joe are at least in the same timeline once again. Although, he's a couple continents ahead of me, so I need to hurry up. I've got a flight to catch.
Okay, so now I find the guy that I picked up the letter for, Tarufo, and he's a scientist, and he's thankful that you give him the letter, and he says, there's not much I could really do for you, but I could always take you in and show you the science lab. So you go into the science lab and you find out the name of the chief scientist is Dr. Fail.
A very ominous name, mind you.
With a name like that, it makes you wonder. So, in the vanilla game, you have to go talk to all the scientists, but in the randomizer, you can have it set where you don't have to. You just talk again to Tarufo, and he says, let's come back here and let's go meet Dr. Fail. So, there are speed-ups like that here in the randomizer. So, taking us back here, and then go over, we talk to Dr. Fail. He talks about his Tatuigen masterpiece, but he feels like it's too dangerous because they're trying to connect it with the Dark World. And then he says, I think we're going to have to terminate the project because this is just way too dangerous. So find out he terminates the project, and then as you head back out, in the vanilla game, you have to actually walk out of the science lab, go talk to an NPC, and then come back. The randomizer speeds it up where you can just talk to that Tatuigen out there, and then when you come back, then you find out that Foma is out of control, and you basically have to fight him. So that is what we're going to be doing now. You find out he's a super strong robot. As you can see on J-Pops, he's trying to search for that secret entrance to get on the airship.
Yep, even though I can get on for free, there is some walking animation to do it, and depending on how long it takes for me to find this door, it's about 50-50 whether it's faster to just talk to them and get on the ship or look for it yourself. And I seem to have lost that coin flip this time, and I took just as long as Joe. It was door 8 or 7 or 8.
That was actually the same door that I got.
Ooh.
And we both got the same Skyrune Apprentice. We both, or not Skyrune Apprentice, Star Rune Apprentice. We both got the same door number. Funny how that works.
And, you know, that's all made up to RNG on the fly, not according to the seed, but apparently.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if people have looked into the RNG on that, of exactly how it works, but that's happened on more than one occasion where we've tried to, where it's like we've both hit the same Star Rune Apprentice, both got the same door numbers, so there could be something tied to possibly starting the game at the same time or something. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but nobody's really researched that, so...
There absolutely could be, but I do know that we have ran similar seeds, the same seed, and have gotten vastly different results as well. So it's not just solely dependent on the seed. It may have some influence, but yeah, we currently don't clearly know.
So, as you can see, after I defeated Foma, the continent went sinking into the water, so you find out that that's exactly the mystery behind what happened, what we saw in the future with Melanam. And then the airship takes us to a continent, and you find out, you hear that Corsia is on that continent, and Sorrow's on the continent, so... we go into this cave here because you hear that Sorrow is very close, so, and they say that Sorrow is the only one that can defeat Corsia, so as you're on your way through the cave, you come across a couple of mini-bosses that you have to fight, so I'm on that first mini-boss here right now. At this point in the game, due to the high stats that I have, this guy really is not very threatening. Most of the attacks keep getting dodged, so it's very, very easy fight at this point. Here I am on the second mini-boss.
And if you notice that these are reskinned, as all RPGs, right? You have the same enemy, just a different shade of color, different type of texture, or something. So these are the reskins of the Rama's fight, which was the first boss that we fought, and the reskin of the Serpent. But neither of them are particularly threatening. Yes, they do have stats that are higher, but there's nothing special that they do that's terribly all that scary, to be honest.
Okay, so as you'll remember, in the future, we were collecting the runes, which were supposed to be Corsia's power contained in it. And now what we're going to be doing is we are going to be picking up the runes again, but we're going to find out they have a different purpose now. So before, the runes gave us benefits, like being able to warp in between the towns or being able to raise our power. But now what the runes do is they do the opposite. They lower Corsia's power. They lower his defense. They slow him down. There's those kinds of effects that it has. So in that sense, I'm just basically reacquiring all the runes right now. Messed up the order here a little bit that I usually do them in, but basically we reacquire them and then we use them on Gorsia to weaken Gorsia so that we can beat Gorsia.
And 2 of the ruins, they do, but they don't exactly work in that form or fashion. There are 2 ruins that are required to defeat Gorsia, almost like how you needed the star against Doros. If you don't use those 2 ruins, you cannot damage him. So that's like the prerequisites that you need. The others do help, but those there are 2 runes that are actual prerequisites to it.
Alright, and the castle is actually in the exact same spot as it was in the future. And for those that would be playing the game that would not know where to go, this can be an extremely confusing castle because you have stairs that you think you're going up to another floor, but then you find out you aren't on that floor, and then you go to another place where you think you're going up, but really you're going down, and it can be very confusing if you don't know the order, but basically it's left, right, left, so, and then once you get up to the top floor, that's where Gorsia is, so I am about to fight Gorsia here.
That path is actually true for almost all of the mazes and all of the castles. Is left, right, left is the direction that you need to go to get to your destination. It's the same for all of them.
Yep.
Once you learn it.
So as you can see, Gorsia starts out super strong, almost one-shotted Lux there. Not quite, but
Ooh.
I'm just throwing all the runes on him right now, just so he can get dodges like that and get almost knocked out. Water rune takes away half his HP. So each of them has a different purpose. And I'm just going to get powered up. Fight him. Probably should get stats. There, and Gorsia has been defeated.
GG's Joe.
Thank you for the GG. And at the very end, he says, "You're gonna go down with me," and he kills him there, right on the spot, which is kind of like one of those endings that you're like, why did that have to happen? That's a time of 1:39:12, which actually happens to be a new PB for me. I don't run this very often, but it's always nice to get a new PB.
PBs are the best.
So then here, basically, they just say, oh look, Sorrow's sending a light to us. Oh look, a child is being born. Let's name him Lamiel, which happened to be the king of the future. Let's make sure we write all these things down on tablets so that none of this stuff happens again. And it makes you wonder if you're in some type of time trap here. And I just sent a message over to Really Longathon to see if they can transfer the audio over to J-Pop so that you can hear him finish out this game.
Yep, I am working on Serpent 2 currently at the moment, and hopefully I can do this. I actually, separately, both my characters went down, so now I'm rebuffing them. And I'm actually out of revive items, so if I go down, this will get a lot trickier, because I do have the Revive 1 spell, but the Revive 1 spell is only a chance to revive. It's not an actual guarantee, so that can get a little bit scary and a little bit more difficult, depending on the circumstances. But again, I'm abusing the ability to petrify them. And, woo, I barely got out of that one. We get some level up for our troubles. If you kind of notice, I did not, Asuna did not get any magic or speed stat level ups. And that's because she's at the max 255, which is, once you have that, in some of those stats, not hit points, magic points, and actually I think power and defense can go higher as well. Those can go all the way up to 9999. But magic and speed will cap out at 255. And here we are at the last town, and I will be gathering my ruins. The two ruins that are necessary that you need is the Wizard Ruin, which will pull Gorcia out of the darkness, and the Light Ruin. You cannot do damage to Gorcia until you do the Light Ruin. You can't hit him with the Light Ruin until you pull him out of the darkness. So these are the two ruins that are considered necessary to defeat him. I will grab the Water Rune, which will reduce his hit points by half. I guess I'm really actually taking all of the runes. So the Star Rune will drop his defense down. The Wind Rune will reduce his speed. And the Moon Rune will drop his attack. There is the Sky Rune, but which will, I believe, reduce his magic, but sometimes it could actually increase it in the randomizer. I also find that his magic is not the most threatening part of the boss fight, so I tend to skip that one. So I have everything, I'm all healed up, and here we go.
You're off to Gorcia.
Towards the very end of the game. I'm actually kind of shocked at how close I am to you, because I think I lost 15-20 minutes in Patrof. So it was I was stuck there for a long time.
Taking a look at your splits, I'm taking a look at my splits just to see where that difference would be.
And I have missed some of my splits in this run. They're actually really bad. Or I meant to skip it and I went back a split, so it ruined it. So then I had to skip that split. So my splits are all over the place right now.
Yeah.
But here we are, the final fight, hopefully. The beginning is the hardest part. I am actually first going to pump up my defenses, because ouch. Alright, maybe that was a bad call. Alright, well, I have no choice but to chance it on a revive spell. And now I have a change of plans, and we're going to debuff him first, and hopefully we make it through. And as I've said before, pray that I can RNG harder. His physical attack is the most dangerous, but once you get the Moon Ruin off, it is less... It's a lot less to worry about if I make it. See, his fire and his magic just... They're not all that scary, so... Alright, so I can get this Moon Ruin off. And he does still do some damage, however, I survived it, so... Much better.
Neil has much better defense than Asuna does. That's probably one of the things that's making the difference.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to boost Asuna's defense up first. But, turns out, it was never gonna be enough. I should have rushed to reduce his power first. Oh, I have to drop his defense. I got ahead of myself there. See, even now, yes, Asuna's defense is boosted, but, wrong one. Star one. 80 as opposed to 400, it's a big difference. And something we also haven't mentioned in this, if you see us defend, that there actually is 2 reasons to use the defend. One, yes, to block, but actually if you defend and then attack, your attack power is doubled after a defense. So sometimes it's actually better to defend attack, because in theory, you only face their defense stat once under those circumstances, as opposed to twice with 2 attacks. So the attacks would be stronger, and time!
Alright, well, GG.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so that's the, that is the 7th Saga Randomizer, the Super Speedrun. And maybe what we could do another time is we could do a run that is very randomized, and where we could just show how the randomizer can really throw things off in a sense.
This really...
one of those runs that J-Pop will probably cream me in, so... Those are his specialties.
The randomizer really does throw a lot of kinks. You'll have a lot of regular monsters with really powerful spells, random circumstances and situations. The run is really different, the one we did, the Super Speedrunner-ish. It really does, you really would take it as like a vanilla run that's much quicker, much more forgiving. You know, even though I died and had several mistakes, it's still under 2 hours. You know, and Joe was 130 and change, and the regular game takes hours upon hours to complete. So I highly encourage everyone to seek this out, kind of figure out how to get this randomizer and play it, especially if you love 7th Saga, because a lot of us, again, have the same story that we do love the game, but it takes a long time to get through. You do it under the randomizer, I guarantee that you'll find that you love this game again. It's one of the best.
Yeah. And if you enjoy watching these runs, be sure to follow both myself and J-Pop. We do different... I'm mostly 7th Saga. J-Pop does a lot of the 7th Saga Randomizer, and he also does other runs too, but both of us do these types of runs on our channels, and sometimes we also do casual races as well, both between the 2 of us as well as some other runners that join in as well. So yeah, be sure to follow us, and yeah, so...
Yep, it's fun. we would really appreciate it if you stop by and take a look and have a good time. I would also like to thank Really Really Longathon for having us on here. I am a newer speedrunner in my own right, so it's very exciting that I get to share experiences on other platforms with other folks out there and spreading the love out there. I would like to thank Joe. GG's to him and his victory today in this run. Joe has really taught me a lot about the vanilla aspects of 7th Saga, and we have been trading ideas and situations for the randomizer, and who knows what will get made out of it. It's really fun and really exciting. So thank you, Joe.
Yeah, and thanks J-Pop for coming in and racing, and again, thank you for all your tips you shared and for all the ways that we've been able to kind of continue to develop these runs to get even faster and better.
It is absolutely a pleasure. So, thank you everyone so very much. Joe, why don't you take us out?
Sure, yeah. Well, once again, thank you, Really Really Longathon for hosting our race here, and and also thanks to Game Boy F9. He's the developer of this randomizer. Put a lot of work into creating this, a lot of programming work, and I think he's put a lot of game hours into playing it to test it. So so we're definitely thankful for Game Boy F9 as well, and for everything he did with being able to create this randomizer and creating this, in a sense, recreating a love for this game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and Game Boy F9 has also thanked several folks that have helped him with the randomizer, so shout outs to all of them as well. Alright,
well, thank you all for watching, and hope you all have a great rest of the evening.
Goodbye everyone, enjoy the weekend. See you all. I think we're done. Okay, I'm being quiet. Are we done? Just want to make sure we're done. Oh, it looks like they've moved on.
I'm still here.
Yes,
My stream's off now.
Okay, I'm looking at their stream. Okay, it looks like they've gone back to another rerun of their long RPG of what they are doing. So, okay. All right, I think we're done. Thanks, chat, for shaming me.
Should be safe to chat with chat now.
All right. Woo, that was fun, Joe. That was lots of fun.
Absolutely. So I just pulled up your stream here. I didn't realize you're racing in the dark.
It was light when I started, and I didn't turn on the. Hold on. Yeah, usually I have this light on, and I forgot to turn it on, and I was like, but I looked at their stream and they didn't have our face cam, so it's like, okay, I'll be in the dark. My chat, I don't care about my chat. They'll just make fun of my ugly face. I don't want to talk to you guys, so.
Oh, definitely Anonymous doesn't like that you didn't pro.
I wanted to, but Joe was giving an explanation on Red Python at the time, and I wasn't going to interrupt him. And actually, Joe,
maybe you'd do it and then you'd be like, yes,
yes,
secretly.
my favorite splits. Part of my tactic, Joe, was basically just kind of like grind, and then I did hit the split. That's one of the splits where I split, and then when I went to skip the red Python split, I hit the back split, so then I ruined that split, so I had to skip that split and the red Python split. So that was one of the ones where I ruined.
Okay, so here's a question. Do you use your keyboard and use hotkeys to split, or do you click the buttons on the splitter?
I use the keyboard and use hotkeys to split.
Yeah, because I use like the S button. Wait, no, I use the space bar to split, but then if I want to undo the split, I hit U for undo. So I find that when the buttons are far apart from each other, then it's a little easier not to hit the wrong button.
That's true, but I had because I do lots of other games, and there are lots of games where I actually have to use the standard keyboard.
Okay.
So I can't use any of those. So I use the numpad, and it's actually funny. I can use the numbers on the regular keyboard side if I have to type in numbers. And I always try to remember to do that when I have the splits up because I can't use because I use the 10 key for my splits. If I have OBS buttons, they're actually on my insert, delete, and end, and my F12 and F11. So I can't use any of the F keys on those. So that's where my splits go, is the 10 key is the only place left that I have for them. My brother makes fun of it too. But I can't help it. You know, if I'm playing a game that requires like Typing of the Dead, which isn't a game that I've played, but some things that are similar, I have to use all the keys, so it can't be anything else.
Gotcha.
But I'm here trying to be all nervous, trying to explain stuff, trying to go off with you. I think we actually did a really good job of not having that much dead air time.
Yeah. Well, what happened was when Eric and I had our vanilla race on Really Really Longathon, I wasn't paying attention to the chat, and Eric wasn't either. So there were actually people that were asking questions in chat and that were trying to interact, and we weren't paying attention, so we didn't realize that they were actually saying it. And then later in the game, I look and I realized there were all these questions. I'm like, oh man. So, but this time, like, there weren't really anybody in the chat that were interacting. So
there's nobody, right? Because I got basically nobody besides the Really Really Longathon hosting us.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just me. Okay.
But it did show that there were like 38 viewers or something on there, so there were a lot of people on there. But
you know, and I even find that in my channel, like, I consider myself a nobody. I don't have much, right? I have my general viewers, which I'm lucky to have, but, you know, they don't account to the 60 plus views that I get on my videos. So I'm like, oh, you know, who are these other folks? And I think actually Twitch has taken out the lurkers from your viewer list. Like, only the common folks show up now. Like, there used to be a big list of lurkers and stuff, but I don't see them there anymore. So I don't know what happened.
Interesting.
But I think lurkers don't show up. It'll show you your people count, but not, you know, when you pull up the community and look at it. I don't think it shows them anymore. So that could be just me, but I think I remember seeing something about that. I'm not sure, though.
Sometimes I noticed that the number of I actually have more people in chat than what's on the viewers.
That's been Twitch for forever. Like, I'll hit the refresh, like, oh, no one's here yet, and then chat be like, I'm here. It's like, well, Twitch doesn't think you're here. You don't count.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. When is the Eagles game this weekend? It's the beginning of the football season. I was, oh, wait, Eagles are playing right now. They're in Brazil, aren't they?
I'm actually not sure. Are they?
Yeah, right? Yes, they did. Yeah, somebody in my chat, oh, not sure if I should tell you. Yes, they're playing in Brazil today.
Oh, okay. Gonna say, I wonder if that's what happened to Eagles if he went to an Eagles game, but
if he went to Brazil, he should miss this race. I thought you said he went to a concert, but it could be anything.
No, I think that's what he said. He was going to a concert.
Maybe it's the stadium broadcasting the game in there. You never know. I mean, it's the beginning of the season there. Why not?
Yeah, I just messed with him, say that his secret sponsor is the Philadelphia Eagles. And his other secret sponsor is Wawa.
I need some secret sponsors. Chat, I need product placements. I need to figure out who to sell out to. Because I'll do it. I might do it.
And you can just start doing this full time.
You know, this is a dream enough that I actually make anything, and make anything is pretty relative. I just have to fill out the tax form. So actually just my internet gets written off, so that's really great. I'm just, it's like the dream, right? To get paid to play video games. It's much more than that, but it's like the childhood dream, and so as a hobby, I get to live it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, we actually have another race that I believe is going to be coming up a week from Saturday, and there's actually been quite a few people that have been interested. So it's a vanilla race, no tune-up glitch. Which is actually, I think, the first time that we're going to actually be having a no tune-up glitch race, aside from, like, the thing that Eagles and I did, but that was more like just us both doing PB attempts and just trying to see if we can get a PB. But myself, Eric Faceplant, Eagles, and Lucha Jim, we might all be doing a race together.
Ooh. I'm not ready for that. I like. We'll see. Next Saturday, huh? I can't plan that far ahead. I don't get to find out until at least next Tuesday. Interesting though.
Yeah.
Keep me in the loop.
But it's actually, I said to Eric, hey, this might be like an international community race if we got 2 people from the U.S., 1 person from Canada, 1 person from Australia.
Wow, that's wild. And
all on playing 7th Saga.
And that it goes for a long time. Somebody from anywhere in the country, I'm not very good with time zones and all that stuff, but people will be going to sleep watching us. People will be waking up watching us, or possibly, you never know with some of these.
Yeah. Well, I think right now, Eric is usually, I think he's probably going to be on. He just said if he gets called into work or something, he might not be able to do it. And then I think Eagle said that he's pretty sure he should be able to join. Lucha, since he's in Australia, it might be a little challenging with the time zone, but he said that he thinks he might want to, so, yeah.
Wow. At the very least, if I'm not going to participate, I'm going to come by and take a peek. I'll have to.
Hey, maybe you'll get there right before your favorite split of the game.
Maybe. I will bug you about it. For me! And I actually think you actually did the last time. You did it for me. So, you know what? Don't use my name. I ruined it for both you guys. Don't do it.
I know both of us had J-Pop as our name.
I don't want to be responsible for that anymore. I'll just take the shout out and go with that one.
Although with my any percent attempts, what I'm doing, because I'm using 1 letter, so I started with A, then my next attempt is B, C, D, so I'm trying to go through all the letters of the alphabet, so we'll see how many attempts it takes before I can get a PB.
That's fun. That's a fun way to keep track, too.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Chat, thank you. Good night. I'm going to close this off, and I'm going to be going... I'll be going to eat. That's what I'm going to do. So, First off, I'll see you later, chat. I'm sure I'll talk to you
All right.
sometime this weekend.
Have a great evening.